It's Tuesday, May the 16th, 2017, and this is your Barbados Today evening update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, state-paid teachers were this afternoon preparing for a possible stepping up of industrial action against the Freundis-Stewart administration. The Barbados Secondary Teachers Union called out all of its members to a meeting this afternoon at the Barbados Workers Union Solidarity headquarters to update them on matters for action. The union says the matters for action include the unfair dismissal of members from their schools and denial of their rights, and the formulation of an action plan for potential implementation if any teacher's salary is docked for participating in the April 5th March of Respect. Up to news time, that meeting was still going on. The Bar Association of Barbados has taken Cabinet Minister Dennis Kellman to task for describing attorney and social activist David Comachong as an enemy of the state. Speaking in Parliament recently, Kellman slapped the label on Comachong for seeking judicial review of government's decision to approve the construction of the controversial Hyatt-centric resort in the city. But today, President of the Bar, LIESEL Weeks, told Kellman, Minister of Housing and Lands, that his statement was an unprovoked attack on Comachong's civil liberties.
The unjustified use of such a term may be seen as an unprovoked attack on the civil liberties of the individual, which have been jealously guarded and preserved by successive governments in Barbados, as well as by our judicial system. By its nature, it's an aggressive statement intended to offend or alienate the person or group to whom it refers. The right of a citizen of Barbados to seek judicial review of administrative decisions or actions of public officials is a linchpin of our justice system and is necessary for the protection of our democracy and the rights of the individual enshrined in our Constitution. The system of judicial review affords a necessary check and balance to prevent abuses by the state and to protect citizens against improper decisions by those in authority where the law provides no other practical or realistic remedy.
Local firms are being warned to take the matter of risk assessment and risk management more seriously if they want to avoid going out of business. This sobering recommendation comes from Regional Risk Assurance Leader for PricewaterhouseCoopers Caribbean Region Network, Bruce Scott, who says it is important for companies to invest in risk management techniques.
So one of the best things that companies can do in preparing for that is to make sure that their data, because ransomware is ultimately about, for example, encrypting your data and charging you money to get it back. So your IT disaster recovery planning of ensuring that the critical data from your business impact analysis is backed up within a reasonable time that you can get it back, so you don't have to pay this money. So you need to make sure you have your backup of your systems. Even if it means you lose 15 minutes or 1 day's worth of work, you can rekey that. The second thing is that companies need to do a diagnostic assessment of how vulnerable they are. So they need to get a friendly hacker who is not the criminal, who is behaved like one, to do an assessment of how vulnerable they are. And then once they see the vulnerabilities, they need to get the budget to close it down.
Scott was speaking to Barbados Today on the sidelines of a PwC Regional Risk Management Seminar series at the Radisson Aquatica Resort today. A major study on domestic abuse in Barbados reveals that most of the men surveyed did not consider sexual abuse and economic forms of control as abuse. The EU-funded qualitative research conducted in Barbados and Grenada by the None in 3 on Prevention of Domestic Violence team found that almost all men identified physical abuse and, to a lesser extent, psychological abuse as the sole identifiers of domestic violence. The researchers noted that this provides insights into the extent to which sexual entitlement is considered by some to be a right. In sports, India is scheduled to play 5 ODIs and 1 T20 against the West Indies in June-July. The Board of Control for Cricket in India confirmed today that the tour to the Caribbean will come just days after the Champions Trophy in England. The 5-match ODI series is slated to begin on June 23rd, with the first 2 games to be played at the Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain, Trinidad, while the 3rd and 4th ODI will be played at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua. The final ODI and the solitary T20 will be played at the Sabina Park in Kingston, Jamaica.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
When it comes to your family, what do you dream of? Enjoying the sights of Italy, seeing the Eiffel Tower for the first time, or experiencing the cuisine of Spain? Courts can make your family dream come true. Shop at Courts for a chance to win a dream cruise for a family of 4. Spend $999 or over at any Court store or online at shopcourts.com. Every $100 gets you a chance to win that cruise to give you more fun time with your family by cruising the Mediterranean, a value of over $20,000. So stop dreaming and start shopping to make your dream come true at Courts, bringing value home.
Good morning, Phillips & Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Will she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for 1 year, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody ain't want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados Today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling, but no thanks. We just advertising Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Mom, are you still there? Oh, she put it down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back with news from the region now. There are reports of crocodiles being seen in Greater Portmore, St. Catherine, Jamaica, amidst heavy rains and floods in parts of the country. All educational institutions have been forced to close as landslides affect sections of one highway and some roads become impassable. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has ordered the activation of all national emergency systems as government sets aside some $175 million in emergency funds to repair infrastructure and the worst affected flood-hit areas. Disaster response teams have been operating in Linstead, St. Catherine, rescuing stranded householders trapped by the ongoing floods. Director General of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, Major Clive Davis, has called on people to leave their homes.
An area is pretty much flooded, and so the Jamaica Fire Brigade is in there with a rescue mission, and we have actually also activated or triggered the Jamaica Defense Force because we may require their assistance in some areas. Francois, the focus at this time is for rescue efforts where they become necessary. And so what we're saying to persons is, if at all possible, do not wait until the situation has overcome you for you to make a move. Move out of your home. Go to somebody else's home or go to the designated shelter.
And on the international scene, President Donald Trump came under pressure today from U.S. lawmakers, including his fellow Republicans, to explain why he shared highly sensitive intelligence information with senior Russian officials at a meeting in the Oval Office last week. U.S. officials said Trump discussed intelligence about Islamic State with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak at last Wednesday's meeting.
But Republicans on Capitol Hill who specialize in national security and who have largely stuck with the president until now are growing alarmed. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Bob Corker saying the White House is in a downward spiral, while Armed Services Committee Chairman John McCain saying the news is deeply disturbing. House Speaker Paul Ryan saying he wants a full explanation from the White House. The latest stumbles could not come at a worse time for Republicans who are trying to advance ambitious health care and tax legislation. They also need to get a new FBI director in place after spending last week defending Trump in the firing of James Comey, who had been leading the probe into whether his aides worked with Russia to help win last year's election. The latest ruckus coming as Trump meets with Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, a crucial ally in the Middle East, and as he prepares to head out on his first overseas trip later this week.
And that's news and sports, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper email updates and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, our screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic evening.